So this PowerPoint slideshow is for Chapter 12, Understanding Speech Genres. So what I'll be covering in this slideshow is really two basic things. One, the different genres of public speaking, and two, breaking the rules when we violate different genres of public speaking. So the different genres of public speaking, what we talked about in previous chapters was the general purpose for a speech. Today is to inform, to persuade, to entertain / inspire. And really the general purposes for a speech today were taken from the speeches of the past, specifically from the 4th and 5th century BC from the Greeks. So the genres of public speaking that all citizens had to learn was firstly epideictic speaking. And epideictic speaking is celebratory speaking, and that would be a speech of praise or a speech of blame. So think about it like this. They could be speeches about a particular person. So if you wanted to pay tribute to an individual, for example, if you were to write a tribute speech, let's say someone that you absolutely revere is Maya Angelou, then you might write a tribute speech. That would be a speech of praise. Then there could be a speech of blame, and a speech of blame, if you look at the subcategories under speech of praise or blame, it says person, organization, or idea. If you wanted to blame an organization. So years ago, a lot of students got together specifically at FGCU to assemble and organize to create some resistance toward Taco Bell, because Taco Bell was not paying the farm workers enough per pound for tomatoes. So the students actually got together and they created campaigns against the organization. They attempted to persuade people not to go to Taco Bell, essentially to boycott Taco Bell until they started to pay their farm workers more money. And that would be and the examples of the different speeches would be a speech of blame, and that would be toward a specific organization. Another type of epideictic speaking would be a speech of praise or blame toward an idea. If there's an idea that we celebrate, like the idea of change, and we want to celebrate change, that might be a speech of praise. So epideictic speaking is very common today, and it also was very common in the past. When I say in the past, 5th century, 4th century BC. So an epideictic speech could be a speech about a person, it could be a speech about an organization, or it could be a speech about an idea. And typically epideictic speaking would be speeches about the present. So whenever you're delivering a speech, you're talking in the present about the present. The next type of genre, the next genre of public speaking would be forensic speaking. So what is forensic speaking? Well, really forensic is to uncover truth. So the type of speaking that the Greeks had to learn was forensic speech, and it was a more legal judicial speech because citizens had to defend themselves. If someone brought a lawsuit against them, they had to defend themselves to prove, quote unquote, the truth through their speech. So forensic speech was to determine truth, to determine one's guilt or innocence. It would be a speech about the past. So you're uncovering the truth by examining the past. And one of the most famous forensic speeches would be the Apology. And for some of you that have taken rhetoric and argumentation, you may have read the Apology. And it's the Apology of Socrates. So Socrates was condemned for corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods. And he is known for his speech, the Apology, which really wasn't an apology at all, but pretty much he was saying to the powers that be, look, you're trying to condemn me for something that you know is a lie, and I'm here to tell you that this is not the truth. And so really it was more sarcastic in the sense that he was not making an apology at all, but he was saying he was absolutely innocent, and he was almost snickering at those that would even try to condemn him for the accusations that they made against him. So that the Apology is one of the most famous speeches of Socrates. And then finally, deliberative. So deliberative speech, these are speeches about the future. They determine policy. So when speeches are given, they are to induce change. So a lot of political speeches, Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, I Have a Dream, is one of the most famous speeches in US history, and that is a speech to induce change. It is a speech to change policies for civil rights, and it is a speech about the future. And finally, breaking the rules, genre violation. Genre patterns are very comforting to audiences. They fulfill the expectation of an audience. An audience, when they attend a commencement speech, they expect a commencement speech. They expect to feel warm and fuzzy. They expect to be inspired. However, the individual David Foster Wallace titled the commencement speech that was titled "This is Water" really deviates from the pattern of what a traditional commencement speech is supposed to look like. So you can deviate from a pattern of what the audience expectations are. But what I would say is, if you deviate from what the pattern is, from what the expectation is, you're taking a huge risk, and you better be good. So learn all the rules, and only when you are good enough can you break the rules. So that's something to consider. So what I'd like you to do is to watch this speech, and if you're not able to play this speech within this slideshow, I will include his speech in your PowerPoint, actually within the modules itself. So please make sure that you do watch this before taking at least your first exam.